Why, hello, good morning, everyone. Paul Trani here. Oh, looks like I'm in a nightclub. Look at this. Look at these fancy lights. Right? It's like we're in a nightclub today because we're talking about gradients and gradient enhancements. And so that's what I was going to cover today. And yeah, I thought I'd turn on some lights and trying to catch the vibe for gradients. Hopefully it's not too annoying. I could always shut it off as well. So that is the goal. So if it gets annoying, I will change it, but also I'm going to be in the lower corner anyways. You should be hopefully on Discord. So that's what I've been pulling from for this daily creative challenge, and I welcome you. So it's good to see you here, Andreas, Susan, Anki. Anki's down with it because it's night there anyways. All right. Cool. What's up, Robert? Joanne, Andreas, yeah, just saying hello. Michelle, thank you so much. Appreciate it. So again, just kind of fun lights. They might get kind of annoying. I might turn them off shortly, but I wanted to cover today's daily creative challenge, and this is all about gradients, which we've actually updated. So now you have linear and perceptual, different types of gradients, but we're also going to do a quick continuation from yesterday, which was all about selections. So there's one bonus tip I'd like to cover there. And let's go ahead and kill the... There we go. It was kind of driving me nuts. Is that okay? So we'll just do a nice gold, I guess. Maybe that works. But thank you so much for participating in the Daily Creative Challenge. We have, yesterday was all about creating selections, right? Isolating, say, the different flowers and dropping them into this composite. We also talked about clipping mask. Shout out to Paul, his flower power, which is awesome. G-E-Z, Susan Holt has been doing a great job. And I love this, again, really clean. And I think the tendency is to, almost overdo it. And I have that tendency. So editing is a huge part of the design process, just so you know. So again, I was talking about selections. Also, you can go to behance.net/challenge/Photoshop. You can grab the file, not only in here on Discord, by the way. We'll go over here to Creative Challenge. That's where it is. Grab that starter file, or you can go out to the browser, Gradient Enhancements. So let's grab that file and let's have some fun. I think I've played with the lighting more than anything today. Just been playing with this lighting. Am I helping matters? I don't know. All right, let's move on. Even my background is gradients. It's crazy. So let's go in here. Here we have this. Oh, thank you. Awesome Murray, by the way, just posted on the Photoshop Discord design and other for Remembrance Day. Awesome. Or Veterans Day. Good to hear. Awesome. Right on. Susan always does a great job. Susan, you're pretty amazing, huh? How about that? So this is what we have. We have this amazing situation going on here. And it's already a pretty colorful image, as you can tell. So, like, what else can we do with it? There we go. Let's change the hue a little bit. It's not so bright. So it also matches her. So we have this gold gradient. This is what your file looks like. Forget those. I'm going to isolate her, so I'm going to turn her in a selection and a mask really fast, and it's going to be amazing. So I'm so excited to show this. Are you ready, Clarissa? If you guys are have been with me before, you probably see me use this, but I love this. It's kind of hidden. Forget this stuff. Forget it. You want to just remove the background? That's what you need to do 90% of the time. Guess what? If you have that layer selected, it's under quick actions. So all we need to do is click, and it removes the background. Okay? So feel free to do that. How did it do that? Well, it selected it and created this layer mask that we learned yesterday. Okay? Going again, this is a continuation of yesterday. Just double click on that layer mask. We go into the selections and masks interface. And you're going to use this second tool, which is, it's just the hairbrush, but it's refine edge, right? It's like the hairbrush tool because you're always using it on hair, right? We'll go in and we'll just grab some more of that yellow out of her hair, right? That's what I'm doing. And let's grab it right in there. It helps to click outside so it kind of samples from that color, and then you can grab the hair in there. Even right here, it's like, hey, we'll just click and drag. And you know, we talked about so much yesterday, I kind of didn't have time to cover this, but it's like hugely important. So hopefully you're into that. And look at how amazing that is. We're done with that. We could output, just keep in mind the output. You could output it as a new layer with layer mask, 2A layer mask, whatever. Click OK. I'm doing a new layer with the layer mask. You see the difference. So it's like the before and then the after. All right, cool. Let's move on. All right, gradient time. Thank you for your service, veterans. I know both my brothers and my father and my grandfather were all in the military. Me, I ended up being the art kid, but a lot of respect for them, of course. So we've cut this out. Looks good, right? We can add a new layer. So this is the old school way of doing it. We could click down here to add a blank layer, which is right here. We could put that underneath. And then we can grab the gradient tool. So this is what you would typically do. You'll go over here and you'll look for a tool, right? And then up at the top is typically your options for that particular tool. So right in here, we can see I have it set to this lovely one. And I'm gonna show you how to optimize or trick out or whatever you want to call this this gradients panel. Because look at all this stuff. Yours might look different. Yours might have a bunch of folders, which I'm not crazy about. Right? But just open up any folder you want, like select the gradient that you want, right? And then you can just go ahead and draw with that gradient. And there it is, right? There she is jumping. Swoosh. Cool. Fantastic. All right, so that's one way of doing things. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it a second way. So this is using the gradient tool from the tools bar, right? From the tool bar, right? I'm going to create a new layer now. And for this one, rather than going over here and going up here and drawing it out, we want to go to Window, and we're just going to open up the, you guessed it, Gradients panel. So right in here, this is where all the magic happens. And if you know me, you know I love a good gradient. And all I did, by the way, is I'm sorry this isn't set up like yours, but you might have a bunch of folders in here, right? And I just took them out of their folders, right? But you could move these around. So these were typically in a blue category. I'm like, no, let's just put everything out into one big, into this panel so I could see everything at a glance. So organize this the way you want it, is what I would do. Right, it just makes life easier. And we can delete that folder. Okay, then gradients are fun. It's going to get even more fun. So this is all about optimizing Photoshop, setting yourself up for success to make, when you do sit down to work, you can move fast, okay? So right in here, we can take a look at legacy gradients, because you might not have all of these, but if we open up legacy gradients, it brings me to this folder, right? That's full of even more gradients in here. Look at all these, right? Fun, 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 right? And they're fine. I typically like my favorite categories, the ones you'll, excuse me, probably use. You might use the legacy default gradients, color harmonies, and then photographic toning, right? Right in here. So those are the ones I typically use. There's others. Ooh, this one's noise samples are really cool too. But some of the others, I can make them easy enough that I typically don't, you know, save it out. But I definitely grab these ones, right? So grab the ones that you want, put them in here, you know, so they're easy to get to. and you're ready to go. Okay, you ready for this? Let's undo that. So remember, I have this blank layer over here, so now all I need to do is click. So now I can click and easily add all these gradients that I want. Oh, Armistice Day? Is it Armistice Day today? I don't know. Tell me. I would love to hear. Right, so boom, boom, boom. We're grabbing all these gradients. These gradients, in fact, we've updated. So this is the part I want to get into. Right, so we have this set up. We can jump out to any of these gradients. Let's pick something. Oh, let's just pick something like this. All right. Notice as I click on it, it's applying it in a linear fashion. We could always change that right up here. Because if you're constantly using Radial, set that as your default. Now when I click, everything's going to be radial, like she's jumping out, like it's coming out from the center, right? So I kind of like this, right? Kind of jumping out, radiating it out from the center. Let's turn her off. But now let's get into how this is interpreted. So this is the new thing. You ready for this? And welcome all veterans. If you're a veteran out there or anything, have given service to your country, feel free to say so in chat. I want you to give a chance to brag about yourself. Let's go to right over here. We'll double click on this gradient fill. Ba-bam. Here, now we can change it. And this is what's new. And this is in a couple different places. But right over here, we have this new method. It was traditionally, these weren't even in here. It was, I think, just nothing, actually. I don't even think there was a method. It was just gradient. And now we've gotten so particular, right, that now we have a classic, linear, and perceptual. And perceptual is the new one. So as I change it, you could start to see the difference in the gradients. So here's the classic, what you're used to. We'll change this to linear. Right? So you look at that big pop, like that big difference. It doesn't quite get as muddy in between the transition of colors. Okay, so click right here. Perceptual is more how you see these colors, and linear is more an interpretation of how you see gradients. Okay, but I've personally noticed that linear, I get a lot of pop from linear gradients. So again, play with that. Boom. Boom, and then the old way. You'll start to really notice it, maybe even if we change this gradient in here. So again, we don't have to go to the gradients panel. We'll jump out, we'll pick this rainbow, right? So this is gonna get really, really crazy. It's currently perceptual. Let's change it to classic. I guess you can't tell that much. Classic, perceptual, linear. There's almost too many colors in here. But yes, it usually does a little bit smoother blending between the two and is more along the lines of your eyes. So, okay, cool. I'm going to change that to perceptual. I'm going to go back to that color I had. I kind of like this because it goes with her jumping like that. Boom. Yeah, she's jumping. Okay, if you guys want to know more, by the way, I'll just go ahead and grab this link right here. So I did the research for you already. If you want to read more about it, you can. But this is the new gradient interpolation options. And you can see right here, the classic being muddy. And oh, I should have picked green to red. That would really do it. It's like, it's better to, you know, that's going to take two colors that are, you know, opposite ends of the color spectrum, so they're complementary colors. So it has to do a lot of blending to get back to the other color. So let's just do that real fast. We're going to change this to red because I really want to see this in play. Change this to double click to green. Yowza. So check that out. Look what we get. Let's actually take that down a little bit. Look at how muddy that gets. You guys seeing this now? Let's go to classic. Look at how dark it is compared to linear. The darkness goes away. From classic to linear, that darkness goes away. We'll go to perceptual, and it's, I don't know, I guess kind of, I don't know, maybe smoother? I don't know. But either way, you pick what you want, and then run with it. All right. So again, pick the color that you want. We're going to apply a different gradient to her, by the way. Yeah, just make a preview of 2, and that would be too easy, Frank. Hopefully I paste that link in there. Did I paste it in there, or am I just losing my mind? It'll tell me. Okay, there's the link. All right, so anyways, let's now take all those colors and we're gonna apply it to her, right? So remember, we can add a layer and we can click on a color, right? And then we could do a clipping mask. We did this yesterday, clipping mask, clip, like that. And now that gradient is inside of that shape, which that alone looks really cool, okay? But that's not quite what I want. I don't quite want this. I want all the darks and lights. I want the colors to be remapped to the gradient, right? So remap actually the darks and the lights to the gradient that I pick. So I'll go down here, and this is your, geez, I realize how I'm just introducing adjustment layers. But let's go to gradient map. That's what we want to like map all those colors to the gradient that I pick. So select that and boom, it will typically it'll default to your last one, but it remapped this to black. So look right up here. It has this gradient map and there's my gradient. So right over here, I can select this one and see what it does, right? So it remaps the darks and lights and gives it an entirely different look. This is why Michelle and Jan and everyone is why I use photographic toning. This is typically why we have photographic toning. So now we can go in and you can click and see this is how people tint photos, right? And I personally like the one that goes from a cool color to a warm color. Like this one here, there's actually a cool color into a warm color. See what it does there? So it goes cool blue into a warm sort of orangey color, okay? But we could still use any one of these. Let's go back to this one. Yeah, they're gonna look crazy. And you'll click on this and you're like, I'm never gonna use this in my life, right? Well, all you really need to do is just reverse the gradient right over here. Reverse. Oh, that's so much better. She's reversed. The darker end of that gradient is mapped to the darker colors and the lighter ones are mapped to the lighter. Cool, isn't that fancy? That's so fancy. And what do we have here as well? We have our methods. Now we can change this again back to classic, right? And to perceptual. I really should have made a green to, let's do a new gradient. Now I really want to push this to its limits. Maybe this will work. Hopefully we'll see. I just clicked OK. Please tell me you saved it somewhere. Oh well, let's not worry about it. But yes, that's basically how this gradient map works, right? Gives it a pop. Guess what? We haven't talked about blend modes yet. You could always play with blend modes. I know that you guys that have been here for a while know about blend modes, but rather than this just directly mapping the darks to lights, we can play with blend modes. So right up here, we can select darken or just roll through these. So we could still have some of her original skin tone and color kind of come through while mapping those gradients to it as well. So always kind of play with these blend modes and, you know, pick something that you like. I kind of like this one. This lighter color looks pretty good as well. So notice how it just gives it that, the lighter colors, it gets rid of the muddy sort of dark browns and stuff is what that does. So that's all that does. We're good. We'll click normal. I'd say that's looking fine. We want to bring out some more highlights. Yeah, let's play with gradients now. We're going to go in and we're going to edit this gradient because I'm like, ooh, she needs some highlights in here. Wouldn't that be great? We'll just come down here to the gradient. Guess what? You double clicked on the gradient and down here you can edit it. Let's scooch that over. Let's add another color stop right there. We'll double click on that color stop. Oh, Don't zip away, lady. And then we'll just take this and make this lighter, like so, right? So see what it does? Keeps the pop of, I guess, white in her shoe, and we start to get the highlights in her forehead and different places like that. And then we can actually adjust accordingly. So now we get just that high end, those light colors like so, and I'd say that looks pretty good. And this is the thing I didn't do earlier. I needed to click new, but there you go. Click OK, and now we have that with some more pop as well. Gradient map with spectrum, gradients, and blend modes give nice effects. Not a pro tip. Hey, Frank, that's a pro tip. You know, that's good, man. It's all about, you know, kind of combining things. I don't know, just things that might seem kind of boring. Well, you know, like think about different ways of using it, I guess. She needs to be jumping away from some skulls. Oh, Sean, you're killing me. Here's something fun you can do. You ready? I got 5 minutes. I covered everything I needed to cover, right? Just be aware of gradients. I've actually given you 2 more images that you could play with as well. So you could literally do this with the whole image. You can come down here. Actually, let's do this. Come down here. You can add a gradient map to, say, this one. We could apply it to the whole image, right? So it doesn't have to be that hard. We'll go with more blue tones right here. Right? Again, she looks crazy. If they look crazy, reverse it. And there you have it. Easy enough to do. Okay, same here. You get the idea. Let's go crazy there as well. So look at that. That's even kind of fun. I'm not even mad at this. What do you think, Marsha? I am not mad at it. What I'd really like to see out of these are some motion. So for you pros out there, since we do have some time, I'm going to do a Command J. I'm going to jump this. Maybe I'll jump this. Command J. I'm just going to take this. I'm going to duplicate those 2 layers. I'm going to take these 2 and I'm going to convert them to a smart object, right? I've converted them to a smart object, right? There she is. And maybe I'll turn on this layer, but now I'm going to go ahead and get into, and this is brand new, so Liquify. And like I said, this is all for you pros. We could take the distort tool. It's called forward warp tool. I don't know why, but it distorts pixels. And we could start to pull. So this is one way to kind of like maybe create some motion or some fun movement, right? So that's all I'm doing is let's grab all of this and pull it down like that. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. Her leg, knee is going to go this way. Her hair is going to be whipping around. Who knows? I'm just messing around at this point. You thought I knew what I was doing. Boy, were you wrong. Right? And again, that kind of makes it look horrible. But if I change that to lighten, we get a little bit of motion there. Cool. Of course I'm doing Liquify. Let's go crazy with Liquify. Here's another thing you do. You ready? Next level. Oh, guys, I love this. I'm sorry we're only like... day 3, and let's just have fun in Photoshop. Let's go to filter. This time I'm going to go down to blur gallery, and we're going to do path blur. Okay, so rather than that crazy blend liquify business, we have these arrows to blur, right? To blur the hands going this direction. And darn it, let's exit out of this. Let's turn this off. There we go. That's the problem. There we go. There we go. So it's just that image. We'll go back into blur gallery. We'll go into path blur, and it's literally just drawn a path. Like, oh yeah, she wants to jump this way. Zoop. Oh, guess what? We'll go ahead and put another arrow this way, and now her foot's going to be going up, for instance. Right? So we get that cool motion for the different parts of her body, right? And we can always bend these. So notice I'm bending that, and we get this fun motion, right? We'll click OK. Say that looks pretty good, right? And then we still have this version right here. So from there, you can do anything you want, right? Just have fun, huh? Life doesn't have to be hard. I'll rotate this a touch and see what happens. Rotating, like offsetting it a touch. There you go. Our jumping person, she looks so cool. She's so excited about life. She just got Photoshop. I don't know. So I'm a nerd. She just got the latest Super 73 electric bike. She's like, yeah, you got the RX? What? Dual shocks? That's crazy. That's what she's excited. That's what I would say anyway. Why am I even going to the Super 73 Discord? Let's go to Photoshop. And you can see Photoshop challenge right down here. So there's gradients. Drop it in. Call it a day. You get the idea. Oh, Michelle, you are too kind. You're just like making me feel good about myself. Jump. Gradient action, people. Make that gradient action. Have some fun with it. You know, it's a little bit too much like a circle when I see it smaller, but, you know, the goal is to do better than me. It's better up close. I'm just not happy with the gradient in the background as I look at it, but do better than me. I'm sure you can. And don't be afraid to even apply different gradients, maybe even use Liquify on gradients some more and everything. You get the idea. Well, I certainly appreciate you guys, and I thank you for hanging out with me. There we go. I would do linear. I'd do something like that. That looks better. All right. And don't forget about the new methods as well. Make sure it says perceptual or at least linear. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and feel free to submit your designs. Would love to see them. And yeah, we will see you all tomorrow. Stay tuned. We got more Photoshop coming up. Thanks so much. See ya. Bye.